Well, hey everybody, this is Jen with RAWkin Spirit Creations, and today we're going to be making a RAWkin Spa Bar. And we're going to use these wonderful molds that have little fingers in them that will actually be stimulating your lymph system and exfoliating. This is going to be rich in coconut oil, olive oil, shea butter. It's going to be nourishing for the skin, silky and smooth, and provide good cleansing but moisturizing at the same time. I'm going to be adding to the oils some jojoba beads, and that's going to aid in the exfoliation. In my lye water here, I've added kaolin clay, and in my trays in the bottom, I'm going to put a little bit of the jojoba beads in those fingers that are going to be the first mode of contact with your skin and give a nice exfoliation. And then I'm just going to fill them up with the soap mixture. It's going to give a great scrub and stimulation to the skin. This is a perfect vessel. And so I'm going to start blending to light trace my oils. And I've got these at about 110 degrees, the oil and the lye water. And that kaolin clay is going to provide a good detoxification and also exfoliation to the skin, and it's going to give a nice slip and glide to the bar, make it very silky. It's very nourishing and good for the skin. So we've got just a very light trace, and then I'm going to add the lye water with the kaolin clay, and that's inside. I pour that down my spatula to ensure that I don't get any spilling or bubbles, because the lye being caustic, you don't want to splash that on you. I've got my gloves and my protective eyewear on, long sleeves and long pants and closed-toe shoes. Get all the rest of that clay out. And now I'm going to blend this to about a light to medium trace before adding the essential oils. I'm going to be actually dividing this up into 3 containers outside of my base container here, and I'm going to be blending 3 different colors and then a slight white to what's left in this blending bowl. So I'm going to weigh those out so I get even amounts into each one of the coloring containers. So I'll have 4 colors total. I'm going to add my titanium dioxide just to whiten this base coat up a little bit. And I'm going to do a 1-pot pour, so I'm going to blend the other 3 colors and put them all into this same pot that I'm mixing right here, and then let it have a nice beautiful marble effect as I pour it into the molds. I'm going to start with my first, a beautiful green color, very spa green, natural coloring, and I use natural fragrance. So I've got some mica and some natural food dye, and that's a very nice shade of green there, very tropical. And now I'm going to mix my blue, very ocean zen look. So this is going to be colored with a off-white, green, blue, and spa brown. It'll be very nice, very beautiful to look at. And the fragrances, the essential oils that I'll be putting in here is going to have a very spa, serene, and healthful scent. In this spa bar, I'm going to have lemongrass, eucalyptus, sage, some peppermint, It's going to be very nice. So now I'm just going to get ready to put all 3 colors into my base color. It's starting to trace very thick, so this isn't quite going to go in the way that I had hoped it would. It accelerated much quicker than I expected. So I'm going to have to kind of help the swirling pattern by doing a little bit of folding once I get all 3 colors in, and then I'll spoon them into the molds. I haven't even put the essential oils in. That would accelerate this to mud, so I'm going to just pour these into the mold as quickly as I can, and then I'm going to top them with a drop of each essential oil in each individual bar, and try to mix that down in just a little bit with a spatula so that you get fragrance throughout the bar as you're using it. You can see that's very thick. So now, as I said, I'm just going to kind of fold to encourage a little bit of marbling and blending, since this isn't thin enough to be able to pour nicely and get that beautiful marbled effect, so I have to help it along. And because it's so thick, I'm not going to be able to pour these in. I will have to use my spatula. And I'm sure I'm going to make a mess, but we'll work it out in the end. But you can see how wonderful these colors look. Very spa. The most important part is what it does for your skin. It's going to be very nourishing and therapeutic with the essential oils and the oils and butter that the soap base is made out of. And these molds are terrific. There's nothing better than having a good friction on the skin when you are soaping up. It's just good for getting the lymph system moving well and stimulation and blood flow. That's all for the spa experience. And then with the jojoba beads, giving a nice polish, exfoliating the skin. I just leveled it off, and then I'm going to tap it down to release all the air bubbles. The air bubbles are going to be trapped in here a little more than if it was a finer liquid, because this is really globby at this point, so it's going to be very difficult to try to break those bubbles. But I'll tap that out, and then I'll use a little popsicle stick to try to make sure that all the bigger air bubbles are out and that all the soap is nested nicely in those little finger nubs at the bottom of the soap mold. Those bubbles are taking a while to come up to the surface, and they're very large bubbles. And hopefully I will remember to spray the tops of these with alcohol to encourage more popping of any fine bubbles and to reduce the soda ash. But if I forget, in the end, after I pop them out of the molds, I'll make sure to spray those with alcohol all the way around to discourage that soda ash, which is not really a problem. It just doesn't look as pretty. It's still very usable and functional. I think we're almost good here. And it would have been easier to put these in a cookie sheet and just tap them down really hard together. These silicone molds, when they're not in a harder frame, they are a little bit difficult to work with. But see, I'm just popping any air bubbles, and then I'll tap them down one more time just to level them off. Then I'll make a little design, kind of like a S pattern in the top, figure 8. That'll give it a nice little texture for holding as well. Now I have my remaining that I'm just going to put in these little cube molds for the family, because being as decadent as this spa bar is, we don't want any of this luscious mix to go to waste. So I'll bless my family with it. It's really a science experiment, a chemistry experiment every time I make soap. You just never know what you're going to get, how fast things are going to accelerate from essential oil to soap bases with the oils that you choose. Some things accelerate and thicken really fast, and other times stays a little bit thinner. It's more workable, a lot more fun to work with the soaps when they stay thinner, where you can pour them. You can get such a beautiful look out of the colors. And I'll just tap that down here, getting the air bubbles out. And then I'll start applying the essential oils. Like I said, we've got eucalyptus and sage and lemongrass and peppermint. Sometimes in soap making you have to be very flexible and you have to work with what it gives you. So, okay, if you can't beat them, join them. I will get those essential oils in there one way or another. And then tomorrow, I'll leave it 24 to 48 hours and then I'll pop those out of the molds. I'll take a photo and insert that in and show you the finished product. Visit my website at RAWkinSpiritCreations.com and pick up a bar for your loved one, put it in their stocking. They'll be blessed. And so will I. God bless and make it a great day.